Hey, this is Amber. And before we get started, I just want to say I'm as nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof right now.
You are not alone.
So, but this is Longbranch Talks. I'm the owner of Longbranch. My husband and I bought Longbranch probably about 4 or 5 years ago here in the small town of New Haven, Kentucky, which is the inspiration of what actually got us wanting to do this podcast. You know, through the bar and through Longbranch, we've met some amazing people, all different walks of life and different stories and everything that we've heard from them. It's just been amazing. We've had, we've had a lot of stuff happening right here in the community, right here at the bar. Movies. We've had movies come in. We've had the micro wrestlers come in. So we've had a lot of stuff going on over here.
It has been very interesting. I was kind of sistered into all of this, so
we brought Kristin along for the ride.
But I'm here and ready for it.
And also I want to say that just this morning, because this is obviously our first live podcast, I got an affirmation. This is the life I live and the life that I want. And now I'm taking action to bring those into alignment, which I thought was perfect.
It is.
For today, starting our podcast.
Especially for everything we have talked about and the things we've done to prepare. And now both of us are sitting here kind of tongue-tied.
We don't know where to begin.
As much as we talk and joke and goof off and sit here and have a good time. And now it's here and we're both shaken and nervous.
And I will say that because I'm from a small town in southeastern Kentucky that was completely dry. It was a dry county. So moving from there to like the bourbon capital of the world, plus going into owning a bar, that was like a huge culture shock for me.
Especially when New Haven's not even that big. I didn't even know it existed until I had to run to the post office. And I live in New Haven.
Well, you're from Shepherdsville, right? Originally?
From Shepherdsville. Yeah.
Born and raised there.
Born and raised right by Four Roses Distillery.
Well, there's a distillery that's right up the road from us too. Log Still Distiller.
Log Still. There's Jim Beam is huge.
Yeah, and Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark is another huge one.
I worked at Jim Beam for a while.
And there's one right out here on New Haven Road.
Gosh, there's Evan Williams.
Barton's. That's what I was thinking.
Heaven Hill. There is so many around us within, a 30-mile span. And every one of them are amazing. We go there when we do our motorcycle runs and visit the distilleries and see what we can get ourselves into.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's one of the other things that we wanted to talk about. Bars, booze, and bikes is basically what you're going to hear a lot that we talk about with this, because I feel like that there's so much misrepresentation of all of it, but especially in the biker community.
Very. My husband and I ride. We ride with Kentucky Motorcycle Association, as do you and your husband. Mm-hmm. And we try to bring awareness to anything and everything to do with bikes and to make sure that everyone knows to be safe and hands-free. Don't be on your phones. There's too many bikes going down right now. And that's not even saying that it's a vehicle's fault. We have watched many a motorcycle cause a wreck. Mm-hmm. But it's a lot of distraction, distracted driving.
And the one thing that I see a lot of people say all the time, always look twice before you pull out, because bikes are so much smaller than vehicles. So you miss them.
Mm-hmm.
You miss them.
It's from Mike Newton. He says, "You can talk about me."
I love you.
So, and one of the things that I feel like is probably, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, like a stereotype with bikers.
There really is. The meanness. The more mean the biker looks, the nicer they are.
I know. Big teddy bears. Teddy bears.
I always say we ride with a few men that are just big and burly, and I'm a pretty petite woman, as are you. And so it kind of gets intimidating. So we understand the intimidation of the bikers, but they are the safest people to be around. I have not met one that's violent.
No. And the thing is, you see one, Because our place, especially during good riding weather, we have a lot of bikes that are parked out front. And when we first took over Longbranch, that's all we heard. Oh, you're a biker bar. Oh, you're a biker bar. They associate it all with MCs.
Yes.
And that's not the case.
And that's like Kentucky Motorcycle Association. We're not an MC. We're an organization that, you know, we fight for bikers' rights. We are political. But it is to help bikers get their cause out, and to have our voices heard, because even though you may look at us and see, you know, these mean people, our husbands were surprised we were friends.
Yeah.
Because we come across like our faces are just mean, and neither of us are. We just are very standoffish. And then once you get to know us, we don't shut up, especially me.
Squirrel moment.
I have a very bad squirrel moment.
Bars is another thing, because there's so many different types of bars or clubs, dance clubs. Here in New Haven itself, there's two right across the road from each other, us, Longbranch, and then Sherwood, who's getting ready to open up again in the next couple of weeks.
Larkin says, I don't want y'all talking about big mean bikers.
RJ, you are the exact one that I speak about when I talk about the big burly bikers.
Picture when we start talking about it.
Yeah, because you see people that look like RJ and you think that they are just the meanest person.
Mm-hmm.
And really, if I was ever backed into a corner, there is a few men that I know we can run to and be like, hey,
help.
This is going on. Please help me.
And it's funny that you say that, because I watched a TikTok the other day of a woman who was saying that she told her children that if they ever got lost, to find the biggest,
meanest biker.
Yes, and they would help.
Meanest
which is
looking.
true. Yeah, which is true.
It is so true, because, I mean, even me, I may not look big and I'm very small, but if your kid ever needed somebody, they can always come to one of us. Always. Even to just sit on the bikes, learn a little bit about them. But I know the men that ride the bikes, they love, and women, there's so many women riders, but they love to just have the kids ask to be involved, because the more we used to play slug bug when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
And now somebody
punch buggy. We used to call it punch buggy.
And now people are like, use a bike, have your kids play it with a bike. And then that way they get used to looking for the bikes. So it's kind of a way to bring awareness to look twice and to see that there are smaller vehicles on the road and smaller. And even though they're on two wheels, you know, we deserve to stay safe out there too.
Mm-hmm.
We do it for enjoyment. It's not let's go risk our lives today. It's therapy. We call it wind therapy.
Wind therapy. And you know, it's stories like this and stories like the bar, because it's a small town and you get a good small town feel.
Very.
And you know, those are the things that we want to talk about. Small town barks.
I'm the one that normally
bikes and bars.
Well, and that's the other thing. We did the pool parties this year, and I said, you know, Longbranch is our family. Longbranch is nothing but a family. Amber and I became best friends just spur of the moment. We started talking about spirits and history and realized we were both so interested in the same exact things. And it just became a very close friendship extremely quickly.
Here's a fun fact. Longbranch, the building that it's at now, was built in 1935. So there's actual tunnels underneath our place. And I was telling Kristin about it one day, and she was like, oh, can we go underneath there? And I would not ever go under by myself, but me and her put on our boots and we went exploring.
And then we had someone sneak in behind us. I didn't want to scare you all.
Yeah.
Knowing that her and I were in there by ourselves. But
and you didn't like it in there
neat.
With us by ourselves.
Yeah, you see, you know, you hear about the Underground Railroad, and you just, to be a part of that history is amazing, because, you know, a part of the Civil War.
Yeah, happened right here.
Yeah. And the things you can find.
Tommy House said that blessings of the bikes, we have kids and some older people asked to sit on the bikes and ride them.
Yes. Tommy House, you're an amazing inspiration for the kids and things. Just this year at the Blessing of the Bikes, you rode the woman around that wanted to get on the bike and ride. I thought that was amazing, and we love listening to you preach.
So just a quick recap of what the Blessings of the Bike is. So each year, at the beginning of riding season, all the bikers get together. Tommy does an actual blessings of the bikes where he prays over the riders. He prays over the bikes just for a safe season, safe riding season, safety for the bikes, safety for the riders. And then they go on a ride, right?
Yes. And believe it or not, that it's actually a bigger community than you think. I know that we missed the ride this year with Blessing of the Bikes because we did have a KMA meeting, but it is always a beautiful ride. Tommy always does well at speaking. It's not like you're sitting in church, just,
I love
having
listening to Tommy
somebody.
preach.
Yes. Because some people, when they are preaching and things, it's kind of just slamming the Bible into you. And Tommy really kind of reiterates it into where people that, even though we grew up in the church, he helps people that may not have understand so much more about it.
And he's one of us. I mean, he's just a regular, he rides with us.
Just looking at him, you would have no idea. I didn't know at all. But it was very enjoyable.
Okay.
But we have we went underneath the building and explored. We found so many old things.
Tommy says, thanks for the kind words. You're welcome, Tommy.
And we love you, Tommy. But we went under the building a few months ago and we took a metal detector down there. We took ourselves down there and we just found so many old things and the pictures I got.
Yes.
I know some people don't believe, and that's fine. You don't have to understand where other people are coming from. You don't have to agree with people to understand where they're coming from.
And that's another reason why we wanted to do the podcast, because there is so many different point of views out there.
Yes.
There's so many different ways that people think. And yes, we all come together and, hang out over there or whatever, but we all have a different point of view.
Yes. You will not find two people that are the same in that bar unless you probably sit beside Amber and I, and we have a good friend, Abigail. And if we're in the same room, it's, we'll say the same things at the same time, just randomly. A lot of people that know us know that. And you think the blonde is the airhead. Nope. She's actually got all the sense in this. But I mean, I took pictures, and there's things in those pictures that even people that question things, they looked at them as interested, and wanted to know more. We've gone back on the river just to, look around, see what's back there, see what can be found, because there was a war back there. And it was
the Battle of New Haven during the Civil War.
And it was a very bad war. And
I think then what's set where Longbranch is now was called the Dawson House, which was also a bar and grill type place, but it was a inn. A lot of travelers from the L&N, I think, was the train station that came through here, which is now the Kentucky Railroad Museum. But a lot of travelers stayed there and everything. And the Battle of New Haven happened right out behind us. Artillery actually hit the Dawson House during that time. So, I mean, there's so much history. There's so much in just a small little town. Because when I say small, I mean small. We've got one stoplight, and that's it. And you can make a circle and hit the whole town. And
you literally, there is, a railroad museum down here. There's a museum. There is, it's so small. There's only one Dollar General. So if you know anything about Dollar Generals,
they're all over the place.
But
we only have one corner for one.
I know. But there's one grocery, there's one dollar store. There's not a lot here, and it makes it a very good place to visit, because even at Longbranch, Amber is doing an amazing job at restoring the history. There is going to be a tribute to the soldiers, to any veteran of New Haven is getting hung up on a wall, and there's a beautiful mural that was painted, and that's going to be very interesting to look at when it's done, especially the uniforms and things that you have to hang up.
Yeah, we've got some uniforms that the city had actually donated, let us borrow, so we can hang them up with our hometown hero section upstairs at the bar. And just like, I mentioned the micro wrestlers, we had those. We had a wrestling ring set up in our backyard for these micro wrestlers that came in. And that was actually the same time that Danny and T with Highly Favored came into town. And they have been such a blessing. They're the ones that actually are helping us get this going and guiding us along the way. I mean, there's no way we could have done it without Highly Favored.
So you'll definitely need to look at their podcast and look into their things as well. We actually have Danny in our ear right now, so that's amazing. And letting us know what we need to do, because of course we want to be successful, but we also want to be inform people of things that are going on around the town, things that we know, and things that you may know. Like we want to spread information, but we also want to get it. Maybe
we're very nosy, so
I was going to say maybe gossip a little bit.
If you give us something to talk about, we will deep dive into it to find out the ifs, wins, buts, and what have yous on it.
Especially Miss Amber here, because she definitely deep dives.
I definitely deep dive. I'm a very nosy person.
I always say I dive into a hole and never come out until I find the other end, because I always have to know every corner of what I'm looking into. So,
and each month we will have a different topic of with our episodes, and then each episode will be off of that topic. So, of course, with it being October, my birthday month, but it's also spooky season month.
The entire month.
Yes. Happy birthday month to me. But spooky season month as well, which is also my favorite time of year. So we will be talking a lot on the paranormal end of things.
Especially come see the bar. The decorations. It's amazing what Amber did in there.
So, well, you helped. You helped, and Abigail helped. We have a great support system here with us starting this out. So, I mean, it's been great. But we were going to have some guests on the next couple of episodes of some paranormal experts, I guess you could say. Investigators, yeah. But if there is a topic that you want us, you can comment on our Facebook page, Longbranch Talks. Follow us on Instagram, comment on there, talk to us on there. You can email us at Longbranch
135
Saloon, Longbranch Saloon 135 at Yahoo.
We'll get it right here in a minute.
Eventually.
We've had so many things going on trying to set this up, but like I said, yes, we want to be successful, but we also want to help.
And if you've noticed, I keep looking down and I don't know why, because we are not going off of anything that I'm down here. This is all just us winging it. But so our main topic, yes, is going to be bars, booze, and bikes. But we do plan on talking about anything and everything in between, kind of like the paranormal stuff that we've got going on, because that has been pretty creepy as well.
It has been. We've had so many, even people, a stool fly off or not a stool, a cup of flowers flew off and landed in the middle of the floor, standing perfectly up. I've had a chair spin and hit me for no reason.
Just standing there. So
yeah. So I mean, we have had personal experiences. It's not just us saying, "Oh, look, there's a ghost." It's not. We don't personally,
see them. It's just
it's the actions they take, and we've actually heard them, which is unreal, because Amber had known about something that happened the night prior that I did not know about. And I was told the same thing, that, there is a woman spirit that she just wants her story to be heard. And Amber had heard that the night prior. And then the next day I come in and I went underneath in the tunnels by myself. And that's what I had heard. So, and then I came upstairs and I said, "You won't believe what I just heard." And she said, "You're kidding me. Like that just happened last night too." And I said, "There's no way." And there's no way we would have known that was said, that they wanted to have their story told and that it was a woman even. The other day sitting on the couch, her and I was just talking and a kid started speaking behind us.
We heard that.
And we both knew we heard it at the same time because we both whipped our heads around so confused.
I said, "Kristin, do you have your phone on? Like, is that coming from your phone?"
Nope.
But yeah, so we've got a lot to talk about. We've got we feel like we've got a lot to talk about anyway.
Yes. Well, that, and I mean, there's a lot of voices that need to be heard. We want, the paranormal, their industry, they need to be heard, because what they talk about and things is very interesting.
Well, and from being in such a historical town, because I know, Bardstown is not too far from us, and they have a lot of stuff that happens there as well. At the Talbot Tavern, at Mammy's Kitchen, I think has a lot that has stuff going on there. It's all over.
Yes.
So I think that for me, it's very interesting anyway, because that's something that was kind of, I don't want to say voodoo growing up, but it kind of was, and I don't want to chance sounding like my parents when I say this, but times have changed so much.
They really have.
From when I grew up, and yes, you're younger than me, but whatever. From when I grew up, I don't know about you,
yes,
but how I grew up and everything.
Even in the past 5 years, things have changed so much, and I know there is so much to talk about. Which of course, every episode we will be prepared. It's not going to be us stuttering back and forth about, what we want to talk about. But that's we want to introduce what this is going to all be about, because it is so important to Amber and I, and we just want,
and we want to include you all. So,
yes.
Like we said before, if there's something that you want us to look into or talk about, or a stereotype, I think, one of my friends earlier had commented cancer was one of the things,
yes.
That was very much stereotypical.
And nobody will talk about it.
Yeah. And so, it's things like that we want to shed light on, that we want to give a voice to, that we want, to get out there and get people's stories told and let it be heard.
We want to take the quietness off of those subjects. Because I think that there are so many things that do need to be spoke about, and they're just not, especially in the small town, because small towns, you kind of think we're still behind times, where most places are a little bit more up to date. New Haven's just slow. It's a slow town. It's slow.
But
living.
I love that. I love that about it.
It's amazing.
I would not want to be in a big city for nothing. You couldn't pay me.
I live in the middle of the woods, so
yeah, I love it. Sabrina Hornback says that she used to come down here when she was a kid, when it was a hardware store. Yes, Longbranch used to be a hardware store. Used to be called Paul Howard's hardware store. Actually, I don't think that was the. Yeah, we have the ham sandwich now,
and it's very good.
I don't think that was the actual name of it, but I know Paul Howard was the one. I think his dad started it, and then he took it over. But it's changed a lot since then, a whole lot.
Well, and that's actually how we found Longbranch, through riding motorcycles. Because even after finding the post office, I didn't even know Longbranch existed until we started riding with the KMA. So,
and it's a beautiful ride down through here, because it really is back roads,
Yes,
and it's so
New Haven, Nelson County, LaRue County, they all have the most beautiful back roads to just hit and coast and just enjoy them. Because none of us like I'm not going to say no biker speeds. Everybody knows they do, but it's the slow riding. It's the enjoying it, not just the danger of it. I know some people like to take chances, but we don't. So, but yeah, I think that spooky season is definitely going to be interesting. The guests that are going to be on, Emma
No is going to be on here, and then we have the E-Town paranormal group. They're going to be coming on, and they're a pretty amazing group too. They actually did an investigation at Longbranch not too long ago. Got some pretty cool, interesting stuff from that.
Very, and you can actually visit their Facebook pages as well and find those things. They have posted things about Longbranch on there and the things that they found. So that's very interesting. And of course, I know I'm into those things, so. I think, just when we took the metal detectors out in the backfield and stuff and in the river, just to see what we could find, and found an old musket pellet.
Yeah. Of course, we found a bunch of junk too, and they made sure to tell us that it was junk when we brought it back in, but it was cool to us. We didn't know what it was. We had no clue what we were finding.
It was all the odor customers. This is junk.
And
Oh, it
that
looked cool.
and I love our older customers because they do not care to tell you about
No.
yourself, not for 1 second.
No.
In a nice way. They are very nice, but they're very informative. And
It's like your grandparents.
yeah, just sitting in there talking to them.
They'll be very blunt and open with you, but they're
Uh-huh.
still sweet about it in the
Yeah.
same sentence. Which, of course, they all treat me like I'm their granddaughter. So maybe that's
Well,
why I
we
get the
have
softer side of
a
it.
regular customer that comes in all the time, and every morning, I mean, we can set our clocks by him, and he comes in to watch the news with us. Like that's and he loves it when new people come in when they stop by the bar because now we are considered to be on the Bourbon Trail since Log Still has opened up.
Yay.
So it has brought a group of people in to see us and stuff.
I've seen several different faces, and they always say they're coming from Logsdale.
Yeah. Well, Log Still has the concerts and everything that they do up there with the distillery as well. But Tucker, our regular, I mean, he loves it when people comes in and he gets to show them around and tell them stories. And I mean, he's very, very full of information and history
so
about
nice.
the place. He is very nice.
I don't think I've had a bad experience at Longbranch because anytime I walk in, there's not one person that won't reach out, give you a hug, shake your hand, say hi, how are you doing? Why you look so down today?
Well, and it's
always
crazy because it's like a small little hole in the wall place, and
with big personality.
It has a lot of personality. But for me, like I stayed away from the hole in the wall places when I got of age. Like I didn't go around them until my husband introduced me to Longbranch, and we came in here, and the then owner Jerry Ellis. He was introducing me, and I reached out to shake his hand, and he looked at me kind of hateful
we
looking.
Don't shake hands.
Yeah, he said, we don't shake hands around here. And I was like, oh, and he's like, we hug. And he scooped me up and he hugged me, and I was like, oh, okay, I like this place.
Yes, I'm a hugger. So I always hug everybody, and that was not different or new to me because I think I'm the one that kind of freaks people out when I'm like, I don't shake hands. I hug.
Yeah.
I'm a very personable person. Once I always get this kind of flack that I will trust you till you give me a reason not to. So I become everybody's friend because and she's the opposite.
I do not do that.
So she protects me from that. Kind of my protector.
But we want everybody to tune in to us and listen to us. Share our page. Again, that's Longbranch Talks on Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram.
TikTok is Amber and Kristin.
Is Amber and Kristin. That you can follow us on there.
If you want a good laugh.
We have a lot of stuff going on. We are going to be broadcasting weekly. We're going to try to get them released on Tuesdays. Tuesdays will be a good day.
I think we're going to record on Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays.
And then we hadn't even discussed a date because today was kind of hey, Danny, what time do you have free? Kind of thing.
Fly by our seat of the pants. That's what we do.
But I think it would be probably Thursdays or Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
Just so, we have time to make sure that we cover everything that's, that we wanted to cover in that episode. In case something needs to be added or anything.
Which, like she said, we won't be rambling. We'll actually have legit episodes.
Yes.
This is just kind of to introduce you to us, introduce you to Longbranch Talks, let you know what we're going to be talking about, which is a little bit of everything.
Yes.
With bars, bikes, and booze all wrapped into one little happy place here. And
we'll bring awareness to things that need to be spoke about, things that are kind of put in the back corner, cancer, bike awareness. There's so many things that just need a voice, and we hope to be that voice and be a mutual voice to those people, and just get the word out because we have one of our best friends has a I don't know if it's like it's genetically in her that she will most likely end up with cancer one day, Abigail. And I've told her, if you ever have to shave your head, I'll shave it with you. But, it's kind of a joke, but it's a serious matter. I'm more of I have to make a joke out of everything serious. So we just want people to know that we have your back.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your stance. If you're not religious, that's perfectly fine. We're not going to sit here and just shove religion in your face. We're just kind of letting you know who we are. We're not going to sit here and
very laid back. Both of us are from small towns. We grew up
Yes.
small town, small town living, which is the best way, in my opinion, to grow up.
Yeah, because I lived in Cox's Creek for a little while in like a city environment in a subdivision, and not for me. I don't like looking at my back porch at a neighbor. I want to be in the middle of the woods where I am. So
well, and I'm originally from, like I said before, the mountains. So
Heartland.
Yeah, Heartland.
And of course, you'll hear that in her accent when she says bike.
Probably have several times already. I get made fun of a lot for my accent, but that's all right.
Well, your accent, I get made fun of for being an airhead. Everybody always calls me squirrel. I squirrel off a lot. So, but it's just
very ADHD.
Very. Danny agrees.
Yes.
But it's always a good time. And like, even if you've watched our TikTok videos, a lot of those were kind of spur of the moment off the back of our pants, like seat of our pants. Like we didn't plan those things. That is,
we're not planners.
No.
And even if we do try to plan it, it doesn't happen the way we try to plan it out.
No, because she's an over planner. And then we, like she said, we're not sticking to anything she wrote down. So, but it's just, that's who we are. And we want people to get to know us as well as we want to get to know everyone else, and try to get you all to enjoy the small town and Longbranch. And Amber always does the most beautiful decorations.
And think outside the box, not just Longbranch, but because like I said before, I did not like hole in the wall places. But now that I have one, I love them. That's what I look for. So if you don't like hole in the wall places, think outside the box. Find one. Find one somewhere and go in, and I guarantee the people are going to be nice and very accepting of you there.
Yes, and don't it doesn't even just have to be Longbranch, but Longbranch is like I've gone to many small bars and I've always loved them, but there is just an atmosphere in Longbranch, and I'm not even saying that because she's the owner. I'm saying that because
she is.
But genuinely, I always talk about how I love it there, that it does feel like a family. And that, I do have people that I call mom, dad, they're my grandparents, and they're just sisters.
Our door guy is Uncle Dave.
Yeah.
Uncle Dave.
I mean, there's not one person that won't be accepting. And usually those people kind of don't fit in and they don't stick around because it's just too much of a family there.
Well, we always say you come in as strangers, you leave as family, no matter who you are.
And I mean, when I told Amber, I said, it's the Longbranch family, because yes, there is, us that are, I don't even drink. Really, I drink sometimes, very little.
Dr. Peppers.
Yes, I have my Dr. Pepper right now, but I just, I enjoy going down there for the community, the atmosphere, the people. It is just so accepting. And that's like, Danny here has just literally been.
We've adopted Danny and
yes,
too.
Poor Danny. He didn't have a choice but to accept us, because we were coming one way or the other.
We just ran in and said, "You're our friend now."
Yeah. So, but that's how it is around here, and it doesn't matter your color, your religion, your background, your political beliefs. It doesn't matter.
Which is something that we probably will not ever talk about on here.
No.
Political anything.
But that's the whole point, is that, at the bar, you're not going to be ran out if no matter what your stance is. Right. We've seen people have, pretty heated discussions, and they always end up hugging and leaving as friends still.
Yeah, buy you a beer and move on.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
But that's the whole point of me even bringing that up, is that is because it's a small town, people have their,
Karen Parrott says they make you feel like family. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Mama.
Justin says, your husband says, I wasn't a hugger until the people of Longbranch, and they changed me.
Yes, he was always a handshaker, and he was told actually by a good friend of ours, Drew, that he doesn't shake hands, and that's his brother now. But that's the atmosphere. That is who we are around there.
And like I said, I mean, I guarantee if you aren't from a small town, go find a small town somewhere.
Yes.
Because that is what you're going to get the feel of. And I think it even if you're in the city, if you go into a small town, you go into this hole in the wall places. It's relaxing. You're
Yes.
gonna,
And
it
there's-
slows you down. It slows
There's
you down.
like antique stores around here too. I can't remember the one
Mhm.
that's right by the stoplight. Because I have never been in there actually, but I need to. It's
Up
right by
here?
the pizza place.
The antique store here?
Mhm.
I didn't know there was an
Maybe
antique
she's
store.
not an antique store. Maybe I just thought it was because of stuff in the window.
Barbie D's? Are you talking
Yes.
about Barbie D's?
Yes.
Okay. She is, she does have antiques, but I think she's kind of like
A boutique. Maybe?
she is a boutique, but it's whatnots and stuff. Because I don't
Okay.
think she's got any
Maybe
clothes in
But
there.
that's maybe why I've noticed it. Like
Yeah.
thought it was antique because of things in the window. But there is like I've never been there because when I come to New Haven, I'm at Longbranch with Amber or hanging out with anybody around there.
We actually have a couple of different boutiques here. We have Sparkle on Main, that's down the road here. Great people, love their stuff. And then RDB. I think.
Probably. And there's a few restaurants that I didn't even know around here.
Mhm.
There's the pizza place. There is the
Mhm.
barbecue place you took me to the other day. That was
Yes,
amazing.
amazing. Smoke Show Barbecue.
Yes. But that's the thing. That's, because it is a small town, there's a lot of things. Even I've lived here for 8 years now. I have never been
Stacy
to.
Loy says best bar and best people around. Thank you, Stacy.
Oh, Stacy.
I appreciate that.
You and Anissa have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's, and a lot of people that are commenting right now, they're our biker family
Mm-hmm.
too. Not just our Longbranch family. But that's.
Well, we met Stacy and Anissa because crazy. We actually purchased Longbranch 2 weeks before COVID shut everything down.
Oh, jeez.
So that was fun times. We had to think outside the box to be able to kind of still operate. I mean, we were new to everything.
Yeah.
We couldn't just close our doors and say, okay. We literally were just 2 weeks into it. So I stayed on the phone. I told my husband, he made fun of me because I told him that the health department guy that I was talking to was going to be my best friend. And I called the man daily. He was probably glad that everything was over with and he doesn't have to hear from me anymore. But, we were able to think outside the box, bring in different things, do different things. And we met Stacy and Anissa during that time. So
yeah, they actually had taken me in. Stacy and Anissa have, just like Karen has. And that's what I mean by it's a family. You never feel unwanted. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And even the support that we got during the whole COVID thing, I mean, it was amazing. We had amazing support. And also, New Haven tends to flood a whole lot during bad weather in the spring. So we experienced that 1 year too, where we started flooding. I mean, our bar floods quite often. And the whole town came together and raised all of our stuff up on the stage. So, nothing got ruined. I mean, it's stuff like that is just amazing to me. I love it.
It's like the disaster out
And
east
we
right
didn't even
now.
have to ask anybody.
That's
They just came in.
Yeah, like the disaster out east right now,
Mhm.
with all the flooding and things and all of that. That's how it is here. You don't have to ask for outside help because
and there's several
community.
that's from here that is going that direction.
Yes.
They're helping the
They're
hurricane victims and the flooding victims out in North and South Carolina.
Yes.
So,
because some of them areas are extremely bad right now.
Mhm.
My heart hurts for them because I cannot imagine the disaster and the devastation out there right now. But yeah, I mean, even our small town is actually going out east with supplies to help.
Mhm.
And that's who we are. That's what we're around. And especially Longbranch. If you need to get the word out about anything, it's usually go to Longbranch
Mhm.
because everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. Well, and it's like Karen said, she remembers during COVID, we had to have a KBA meeting outside because we couldn't be inside. We had to
I've seen
social
the pictures of
distance,
that.
and so outside of the box. That's how we like to think, outside of the box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing with like KMA. They're very outside of the box.
Mhm.
Anything to bring awareness. So you're going to hear a lot of repetitive things, I think, but it's going to be different situations, different subjects, but it's just going to be because it's amazing people that we're around. And that's what her and I would love to like
Get the
teach
stories
people.
out.
Yeah.
Get the stories out.
Get the stories out and let you know, like, we're not all the same. Every small town isn't the same, and this one is amazing.
I'm very much make it make sense to me type person. Like when stuff is off, and for instance, like the COVID thing, there was so much that did not make sense to me during that whole time. And I have to make it make sense.
Mhm.
So if I have to figure out different ways to do different things to do that, then that's what I'm going to do. It's just like when we bought Longbranch, it was kind of just like a bar and a grill, which I mean, that's what we are.
Mhm.
But we have brought in different things because I need a variety. Like I think, 1 year or this past spring, we did a Jeep event.
Which was fun.
Yeah. We've had the, like I said before, the micro wrestlers who actually have their own TV show in Pigeon Forge.
And they're actually amazing to be around as well. And that was also the most entertaining thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually just happy not to be the shortest person in the room. So one of them actually joked with me about that when they had come to town, and I was pretty excited not to be the shortest one in the room, but because that doesn't happen very often.
Not very often at all. You're only 4'11".
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, I haven't grown, I think, since I was like 10. So, but yeah, Amber has figured out how to bring the movie productions. There's been several movies.
We had an Ethan Hawke movie produced over here.
But we had the micro wrestling. We had the bands that you all have. Dustin Collins regulars there.
Yeah.
Suede.
And for those that don't know who Dustin Collins is their own little small town country music star.
Yes.
He's released several singles himself, and hopefully we can maybe get him on here and talk to us about the music industry.
And he's always at the bar, because I sure did ask him the other night. I said, "Are you going to come help us?" So yeah, there's going to be an amazing band next Saturday. Are y'all having Suede?
Not next Saturday.
Next Saturday?
The end of the month, Suede comes in.
Suede.
Yeah.
Halloween. I was ready to say, I always enjoy them.
Halloween bash.
And yeah, there's going to be a Halloween bash at Longbranch, which is going to be a good time. You dress up and come, have a good time.
Suede is one of our favorite bands. We like Suede, but we have Suede, Straightforward, Aces High. I mean, there's so many local bands that we get to hear. And that's awesome.
My favorite saying that I've heard now at Longbranch is "drink responsibly, tip recklessly." Because
our bartenders have the shirts on, shirt that says that.
Yep, because there is such thing as being cut off down at Longbranch as well. If you get out of hand, and there's plenty of us that are going to say, you're not going to have anything else. Because it is, we don't want anybody getting on the road that's going to be irresponsible or hurt someone else. That's very important.
It is. And, which all places, I think that if you need a cab or anything, we can call you a cab. And
I will take you home. I have a huge SUV. I will load every single one of you in my car and take you wherever you need to go. I mean, that's who we are. Nobody wants to watch anyone get hurt. I've watched Amber have a bike pulled into the bar just so the person wouldn't leave. So, I mean,
we've parked several bikes inside the bar.
Yes, y'all have. But that's the community. Everybody wants everybody to be safe. Yes, it's a bar. Yes, people are going to be drinking beer, and nobody's going to say they're not going to drive. But we also believe in if there's a limit. And
just like you were saying, in this industry, I think it gets a bad rep sometimes.
Very.
Yes. Our girls, we have the most amazing staff.
Yes. I love the bartenders.
Yeah.
They are amazing.
But I think
even the door people, security, everyone.
But I think that this industry gets such a bad rep with stuff. And the poor bartenders, not just from our place. I mean, we have amazing customers, so we really don't have this issue. But I have been into several places where people don't tip. They don't tip their bartenders. They don't tip their waitresses and their waiters. Or they're just rude. They're not nice to their servers. People, be better, do better. Be nice to your servers.
I used to work in the service industry, and
Thankfully, I have not, because I don't think I could do it.
I literally had it was a Christmas at Waffle House when I used to work there. I was 16 or 17, and I had a man tip me 9 pennies and tell me I wasn't worth a dime. And it was because we were so packed that we had a line all the way to the parking lot, and he was not happy that I didn't get his refill.
And that's your fault. How? Like, I don't understand.
And
now, don't get me wrong, because I have been
there
in
is
some
horrible.
places.
Yeah, there's horrible service.
That
everywhere.
is not very nice service. But
this was a packed restaurant. I mean, just flying out, like we literally. I was 17 years old. I cheered. I was athletic, and I still could not keep up with my customers because it was that packed. And he was rude enough to say that to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never forget that. That was 10, 15. Oh gosh, 12 years ago. But yeah, it's just it was way more than that. 17 years ago. Good Lord. But it's just
let's see, I was in the finance company before, a finance business before I started doing this industry. And yes, I was in customer service a lot. I managed a finance company, but, and don't get me wrong, some of our customers were not nice, but the majority of them, I got along with the majority of them.
Yeah.
My husband teases and says it's because I was actually, giving them something that they wanted. So maybe that was it. I don't know. You go into a restaurant or a bar somewhere, and it is different. I mean, you want it right then. You want your service right then.
Well, and I went to a class to actually get licensed or certified, whatever you want to call it, to be a bartender, so I could work at the Yum Center. And I loved it. I loved working at the Woodford Bar in the Yum Center and things like that. But you will always get those rude people that just, think they're the only person that's exists, and they should come before everybody. So just think about that when you're, especially at Longbranch, because even if there's usually one bartender, and then if Amber knows it's going to be
our girls will give it right back to you. Our girls, they do not care. They will give it right back to you.
Yeah, and that's not normal. If they don't take your crap, it's something you've done. Because I've seen them take some stuff, and I'm just like, I'm little, and I still would have stood up too. Like, I wouldn't have taken that. But that's and nobody's going to let you get treated poorly there, because that's not okay. I mean, in my defense, though, I did not speak to Amber for the first year and a half, 2 years.
Probably longer than that, because you said I was not nice.
No, I didn't say you weren't nice. I said you didn't look nice.
It's my face.
It's mine too. I actually just got a text from my niece telling me to get rid of my RBF. But that's
my more.
But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's the environment. Like, even though she didn't look welcoming at first, that's just who she is. And a lot of people said that about me, and now that they know me, they're like, go find the short one. Especially when we're riding motorcycles, because I always have usually a bright bandana on and doing the 50-50 or things like that to help the kids. And usually I'm the easiest one to find, even though I'm the smallest. You just got to look for the bright bandana.
Toolman says, I love Longbranch, been going there for over 30 years. Always says it's my home away from home. It definitely is.
You slept on that couch a few times.
We upstairs, we have the storage area. We actually have an apartment up there, who somebody's actually living in it now. But beforehand, we set up a bed and a mattress, and there's been several that we've said, you're not leaving. You get to stay here tonight. You
can stay upstairs and sleep it off. And Toolman, he is one of the, members that has been,
he's been with the KBA for several years too.
Yes. And he's been amazing to us. I know that we think a lot of him. So
big help around the bar.
Yes, it is. It's a big family. And even if you don't get along with somebody or don't hit it off with somebody, it's okay. I mean, nobody gets along with everybody. But it's not as drama centered as most bars are. The drama kind of gets kicked down pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't like it. All right, so we're gonna wrap everything up. I think we've rambled on enough.
Squirreled off a few times.
Yeah. But we want to thank everybody for joining in and talking to us and watching us. on this journey, and we hope that you continue to follow along with us
and share our journey.
Yes, share
Please.
it. You can find us again on Facebook, Longbranch Talks. You can find us on Instagram, Longbranch Talks, TikTok, Kristin
Amber and Kristin.
Amber and Kristin.
Mhm. There is we're getting Spotify and everything up so that we can get the podcast and everything streamed to Spotify. So when you're driving in the car, you can listen to our pretty voices. We're trying to get a YouTube
ramble.
But we're just trying to get this journey going, and with the thing,
And we want you to go on the journey with us.
Yes, and thankfully we have the help of Danny and T. They've been amazing to us, actually letting us use their studio for now until we get completely set up. But yeah, there's just
so go on the journey with us. We want you there.
And you know, even if you don't like us, like our topics. But I mean, there's a lot to be talked about. And it's like Amber has said, we won't ramble. We are going to have more specific,
a little bit,
because I squirrel a little bit. But there's plenty of topics that we want to talk about, but we also want to talk about what you want to talk about. Things that you all are interested in, we would love to hear in the comments and things. Even in person, if you see us, like, hey, I think this needs more awareness. I think that we need to bring a little bit more awareness to this subject.
Let us know.
Yeah, just let us know.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, because we don't want to be.
We like to talk. We're talkers.
We much so are talkers. But we are going to make it about Longbranch, about us, about our experiences. But
small towns.
Yeah, small town. But we also want to make it about you as well. We want to bring you all along. It's not just going to be about us. It's going to be about everybody that we're around, everybody that just helps us with our journey.
Box, bars, and booze, and everything in between. All right, guys, like Kristin said before, drink responsibly, tip recklessly. Don't forget to tip your servers. I'll get that out in a minute. Now I'm getting tongue twisted.
Don't take my job.
Yeah, I think that's it for us now. So hopefully you'll follow along and let us know how we did today.
Yes, and thank you all for watching. We appreciate it.
Thank you.